Class, hello. Welcome to middle of week 6, and hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving and holiday. And I'm posting here, I guess it's Friday for all of you probably watching. Posting because I'm guessing many of you have either not started or not gotten very far if you've been spending time with family and enjoying Thanksgiving. We do have I wouldn't say it's a light week because we don't set up these courses to be light at any given week so that around holidays. So those that take this class in the spring during week 6, they'll have the same assignments during week 6. So it just so happens that there's no discussion board this week for you guys. I'm here in the week 6 folder going through the assignments. So but yeah, so you're basically doing the reading, and then you're doing the prophetic analysis worksheet this week, and let me just go through that, and should be pretty short. Go from there. So this objectives this week has to do with identifying various interpretive issues inherent in studying the prophetic literature. So specifically looking at what kind of interpretive things do we run into when you read prophecy or the prophetic literature of the prophets, and then we're going to examine that literature according to the genre and the use of Hebrew poetics. So how does understanding how Hebrew poetics works specifically tie into benefiting us as we study the this genre? So there's your reading, and obviously the Bible scripture reading is going to be a key element in the worksheet. Let me open up this worksheet and we'll go through that briefly. So this is the prophetic analysis worksheet 1. You'll have number 2, but this week you're going to be looking at your scripture reading to do this assignment. So far in the Sandy reading, you've read about a variety of literary elements, attributes, and interpretive challenges that are an important part of understanding the message of the prophets. In this assignment, students will identify examples of the variety of literary elements discussed so far that are present in the prophetic literature. Students will learn to become more experienced with the features of the prophetic literature as the endeavor to become responsible interpreters. All right, so we're recommending that you have this assignment in mind as you're doing the scripture reading. If you've already done the scripture reading, totally fine. But if you've yet to finish the scripture reading, you do need to finish all of it before doing the assignment. But we do recommend you you read this worksheet and are familiar with the types of things we're asking you to look for as you do the scripture reading. It'll help you a lot to not have to go back and reread everything or go back over it quite as much, hopefully. So what you're going to do, 3 things. Okay. First, you're going to look and see where does this passage demonstrate aspects of these things: deity, humanity, calamity, prosperity. Now, we were really nice, and we specifically gave you the parts in the Sandy reading, the page numbers to look back to see what these things are and what they look like. So you have no excuses here. You're really just diligently going through each piece and answering these questions. So deity, God at the extreme of his attributes; humanity, the naked sinfulness of mankind; calamity, language of impending or current catastrophe; prosperity, renewal of life for God's people. So essentially what we're doing, what we just listed here, is real briefly describing these aspects that are in the prophetic literature. Okay, and then Sandy goes into more details on these specific pages. So go back and look at the Sandy reading so that when you go through your scripture reading, you are understanding what you're looking for. So what you're going to do is you're going to provide 10 examples at 3 points each, which means we're going to give you 3 points for a total of 30 points possible on this first question. So this first piece is worth 30 points of your grade. You'll get 3 points for each one you get correct. We want you to have 10 examples of deity, humanity, calamity, prosperity. 10 total. You have to have one at least one of each one. So you have to have at least one deity, one humanity, one calamity, one prosperity. So essentially, you can have one deity, one calamity, one of this, four of that, and four of that, or you can have with 2, 3, 2, 3, any combination of 10, as long as there's at least one of each one. Okay, and that rule will apply when we have you do the other ones as well. Okay, so you're going to be looking at doing 10 examples of this. All right, so if you go down to the chart, we actually made a chart for you to fill in. So there's an example we give you exactly what it would look like. So you are going to write the verse. You're going to do what aspect you found, what's the verse, and then explain how or why that is what it is. So again, calamity, language of impending or current catastrophe. In this example, the verse in Isaiah 1:7, your country lies desolate, your cities are burned with fire, in your very presence foreigners devour your land, it is desolate as overthrown by foreigners. So explain what that means. Here Israel is described as in its present state, desolate and destroyed. God asks his chosen people, why will you continue to rebel, even while faced with such destruction? The Lord correlates the sin of the nation with its destruction. So calamity, that aspect of destruction, you're essentially explaining how this verse ties into describing what calamity is. So again, you obviously need to understand what calamity is. That's what the Sandy reading is for. And then once you've found the verse, if it's correct, you essentially just have to explain and support why you think that. The other thing that's good is if you find a verse, let's say you got a verse that wasn't calamity, but you said it was, and you do a decent job of explaining why you thought it was, we may give you partial credit, even if you get it wrong. We at least know that, oh, okay, that's what they were thinking. That's why we have you explain it and not just list the verses. Okay? And so it's an important piece, and you need to be able to communicate. It also shows that you can communicate what it is. You can't. Some people, it's easy for them just to find it. Okay, I can see that's calamity, but I can't exactly explain to you why that's calamity. That's why that explanation piece is important. So that's what you're doing on the first piece. Then number 2, where does this passage demonstrate elements of Hebrew poetry? Now, you want to see the Hebrew Poetics handout for that, and or consult the Longman and Enns reading, page 520 to 525, which means it's going to describe elements of Hebrew poetry. Okay, same thing, 10 examples of 3 points each. So yeah, you're literally doing the same thing here. So you're going to do the element, the verse, and then the effect, use, or emphasis. Okay, then number 3, where might this passage create interpretive problems for readers? Record examples of the following potential problems. So these are the types of Sandy lists, these potential problems when doing the prophetic literature. Here are some interpretive problems, looking at predictive or poetic, literal or figurative, exact or emotive, conditional or unconditional, real or surreal, fulfilled or unfulfilled. These specific page numbers in the Sandy reading describe all these things. So go back and look at those. And then in this case, we want 8 examples spanning at least 4 of the above options at 5 points each. Okay, so this is a 40-point piece, big piece. This is 30 points, and this is 30 points for a total of 100 points. We want 8 examples out of these. So, which means you don't have to use all of them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. We want 8 examples coming from at least 4 of them. So you can do just these 4 and do 2 of each. You can do 1 of each and then 2 of them. Any combination to get 8 examples, but you have to use at least 4 of these. Okay? And then we've got the space for you to do that down here. Okay? So these little things are bonus, meaning we'll maybe give you bonus points if you find some additional ones, because we love you. And that's basically how this passage works. So again, the scriptural reading this week is an important element of that. You've got Isaiah 1 to 9, 39, 65 to 66, and then Jeremiah, and Ezekiel, Nahum, Habakkuk, and Jonah. These are short books, remember, so don't freak out. But you are spanning quite a bit of scripture. So you're able to look for these sort of things in all of your scripture reading from this week. But this is really going to, really help you to do more than just read the scripture this week, but be looking for these specific things as you read. So let me know if you have questions. Other than that, have a great time and do well. All right. That is it for me. I always forget.